Okay guys, so this particular one here, one thing that we really need to be aware of is a lot of teams like to float a guy up high in our zone. You can see here, the play obviously was in their end. We've got our two defensemen here, and we've got one of their players pretty much sitting out on the blue line waiting for that pass to come through. We can't afford to let a good team, or even a bad team for that matter, we can't allow them to have guys behind our defense like that sitting there, right? I do realize that that puts pressure on us to not keep our guys up on the blue line, but what they do is they float those passes right out of their end right up to these guys, and they go right in on the net. Anyway, they're going to attack our zone here, and I want to just show you what happens on this particular event. Okay, so the puck has entered our zone. Okay, the original guy that was floating on our blue line, he's going down in that left-hand corner, okay? So we've got their three forwards in. This is their centerman here on the boards, and we've got their right winger way out here. So positionally, we don't look too bad. We've got, like our defenseman down here is kind of squaring up with the puck carrier, which is fine. We have our centerman here coming in to this middle slot area, kind of angle him out, which is right. We've got the other defenseman kind of in the middle, out front, higher, like mid slot, good spot. And our left winger is basically defending against their left winger at this point in time, which is kind of fine, but this is where you have to be careful that you don't get sucked down too low trying to defend, because once he comes in here, their other player comes in here, it becomes the responsibility of this defenseman down here to take care of. Okay, so what I'm about to show you is, this is not a bad defense. I'll roll it ahead a little bit further. Okay, so now we have our right winger coming in here now, who's a bit late on this play, but not terrible. Okay, so again, we've got some pretty good coverage in here. We don't give them a whole lot of options. Okay, puck's going to turn over right here. We don't quite get it out. Puck comes in. Now what I want to show you is what happens when one player gets way out of position. It throws everybody else off. So one of the most important things that we may not realize when we're playing is that if you're playing your position, all of your other line mates out there at that point in time are going to reference where they need to be based on where you are. Okay, so in this particular case here, we have the left winger is the farthest one in the zone. He's all the way down here in the corner. We actually have the right winger who has gone all the way over into the left winger zone. Okay, so he's out of position, and our defense are a bit high in this particular case, which is fine. But look what happens as the puck goes around our net. Okay, so normally in this zone here, this is exactly where we have, this is that defenseman on this side of the ice, this is his zone. This is his real estate. He's got to take care of it, okay? But he's kind of holding up here because he can see that we've already got a guy down there who's chasing the puck, right? Problem is it's the left winger. So because the left winger is way out of position down here, this defenseman's holding up and not taking his zone responsibility the way he should. Other defenseman's where he needs to be, kind of right next to the guy over here by the post. Our centerman's cruising back into the slot. Our right winger's coming back into position here to cover off the defenseman up here. Okay, so far so good on that. But watch what happens. Okay, so again, our left winger way out of position. And now this defense is slowly coming over to kind of engage, okay? This is your zone. You got to engage in this stuff right away. The other problem is, look what happened to the other defenseman in front of the net. He's watching the puck and he's getting sucked over this way, okay? So what he has to remember is that his primary role is not to be there, it is to tie this guy up. So what you want to do is you want to back up. You want to physically be touching this guy at all times so you know if he moves. Okay, like literally don't just stand beside him, but back up into him. Okay, so you take him out of the play. If that puck comes across there and you miss it, You want to make sure that he can't do anything with it. Centerman again is in prime position. Right winger's where he needs to be, covering this guy here, so that part looks good. Watch how the play develops. So we lose the puck battle in the corner, okay? We see the defenseman is down where he should be, okay? And then we have this guy here rotating out. Let's see here. Okay. So the big problem here is that this defenseman went around the net this way, which allowed this player to just simply drop behind the net and receive the puck. Now this defenseman is not in a good position to protect the front of the net, which is likely where this pass would go normally, because you can see their centerman is sitting out here. Okay, our centerman is skating away from the slot instead of remembering to stay there, because this centerman's coming in to take that position. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. He goes to, their player does a blind backhand pass, right, which goes off our goalie right out to the slot where that guy's there to, their centerman's there to take a shot on the net. Again, if our centerman was in that slot where he needs to be covering this guy, that guy wouldn't have been able to get a shot away. Luckily, it was pretty crappy, but that's it. Our right winger is up where he needs to be. Again, he's preventing that defenseman from dropping down low and engaging, right, as a forward. So that part's good. Okay, our left winger is still out of position, right? And our D are a bit out of position because we have another guy close to the net over here who's not being covered. Okay. So in this particular case here, we've got the defenseman going into the corner to engage this guy, which is exactly what we need to do. Okay, but they've got 3 players down low here. So again, our centerman has got to come down low in this particular case. We do have the other defenseman out here, right, which is in a good place to cover. But again, when you have to cover because other guys are out of position, it throws everything off. So let's see where it goes. So you see how they rotated. They just sent the puck back behind the net. This guy rotates out, okay, because nobody's covering him. We've got the centerman here, which is protecting the slot, which is good. But that defenseman's still stuck on the post. He needs to be back there going after him. Okay, he does. The puck comes back up, but notice our right winger has been he's in the right position, so he's able to at least get into a puck battle with, not allow this defenseman to really get onto it. And he bangs it out because of that. So the one guy that really stayed in his position throughout that whole setup was able to get that puck out of there like he should.